Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today, I made a double tiered wedding cake recently, and I decided to film it for you guys, and specifically film how to stock a double tiered cake, whether it's a birthday cake, whether it's a wedding cake, how to properly stock a double tiered cake without it bending or tilting to one side, or having it not leveled, or having the top tier pressing down on the bottom tier and